Hey Valley Metal, welcome back to another G67 math video. Tonight we're going to be adding and subtracting positive and negative fractions with unlike denominators. Let's start off with the trivia question. When did the Mall of America open? I'll be back with some cool trivia on that date after instruction. Officially tonight our target is I can add and subtract positive and negative fractions with unlike denominators. Let's do this thing. We're getting a little progressively harder with these, so I used some of the same questions and just tweaked them a little bit here. So George owns some shares of a stock. The third day he owns it, it goes up 0.75%. The fourth day it goes down 1/8%. What is his net gain or loss after these 2 days? Well, it went up 0.75 point, and then we're adding a negative 1/8, which is really the same as it was up 0.75 point, and then it went down 1/8. So we're taking 3/4 minus 1/8. Well, in this situation, you have to have a common denominator, and these are unlike denominators. So I renamed 3/4 to 6/8. Then I can quickly subtract straight across like we did before. 6/8 minus 1/8, 6 minus 1, leaves a total of 5/8 as my answer. So his stock gained 5/8% over those 2 days. Let's take a quick review of some of these words here, especially unlike denominators. That's the key here. Before we had the denominators were like denominators. Now we're moving on to unlike denominators. So we need to make a common denominator to add or subtract those fractions or mixed numbers. And in this case, it'll be fractions. So in this situation, we have 1/3, and we're going to add a negative 5/8. Well, that's really the same as subtracting, but we'll just look at it this way. We have to rename these. So let's rename them to 24, something 24. So we have to have a common denominator. So 1/3, we'll rename that as 8/24, and we'll rename 5/8. We'll rename that as 15/24. Now, in case you forgot how you did that, you take 8 times 3 to get to 24, so you have to take 8 times 1. Whatever you do to the top, you have to do to the bottom. And in this case, we took 3 times 8 to get to 24, so we have to take 3 times 15 to get to 15/24. So now we've got 8 minus 15/24. Or we can just look at it at this point, we're just doing straight across. We can just do 8 minus 15. Well, this is going to be 7, a negative 7. So the answer to the problem is a negative 7/24. Remember, we just add or subtract straight across. We leave the denominator the same. It's common. It's the same. All right, let's look at a couple of examples here. We have a negative 2/3 plus 4/7. Well, we need to rename those denominators, and the smallest number that 3 and 7 go into are 21. If you're not sure what that number is, just multiply the two denominators together and you'll have a number that will work. All right, so in order to get to rename this 2/3, I have to take 7 times 3 to get to 21, so I have to take 7 times 2, which gives me 14. So I've renamed negative 2/3 as negative 14/21. I have to multiply 7 times 3, so I have to multiply 4 times 3. So now I've renamed 4/7 12/21. And just like the instructions said, the first thing is we rename those fractions with like denominators. Then we add or subtract straight across, and we'll reduce if necessary. So now I've got a negative 14, and I'm going to add 12. Well, that's not quite enough to get me out of the hole. I'm still going to have a negative 2 left over. So my answer is a negative 2/21. All right, let's move on. Take a look at another problem. Now we have a negative 2/3, and we're going to add a negative 5/16 to it. All right, so thinking about 3 and 16, I'm not sure if there's a smaller denominator. I'm just going to multiply them together. 3 times 16 is 48, so I'm going to use 48 as my denominator. I actually think it is the smallest, but at this point, it doesn't matter. So negative 2/3, if I multiplied 3 times 16, I have to multiply 2 times 16, so I've got 32. And I had 5/16, so I had to multiply this times 3, so I have to multiply the top times 3, so I have 15. So I've renamed negative 2/3 as a negative 32/48, and I've renamed negative 5/16 as a negative 15/48. Now I can just add or subtract straight across. Well, when I've got a negative plus another negative, I mean, it's just adding those negatives. And so honestly, 32 and 15, that's a negative 47. Because I was at negative 32 and I'm adding a negative 15. So I just take and go ahead, oops, got to get my fraction bar in there somewhere. I guess I'll have to make one for you, folks. It's kind of a funny looking fraction bar, but it will do for us. So we have ourselves a negative 47/48. I'm going to fix it because I'm such a perfectionist. There we go. Negative 47/48. All right, it's time for you to try a couple of problems. Here's your first one. Go ahead. All right. Did you rename those fractions? I renamed them as 28/36 and negative 28/36 plus 27/36. Well, negative 28 plus a 27, I'm still going to have a negative 1/36 there. All right. Well, we got that one right. Try this guy right here. Okie dokie. Did you switch those two negatives to a positive? If not, try the problem again. Go ahead and pause it again. All right. Yeah, that's the first thing I did. Whenever I see this minus and negative, I'm just going to rewrite the problem as a negative 5/6 plus 3/8. It's just going to make your life so much easier. All right, so let's see. My common denominator between 6 and 8 is going to be 24, so I renamed negative 5/6 a negative 20/24. I renamed 3/8 as 9/24. And my answer is a negative 11/24. Hope you did all right on that problem. All right, we will be practicing more of these in class tomorrow. Here is your ticket to the show. Complete those two problems, please. And let's get to the trivia question. When did the Mall of America open? August 11th, 1992. And what an opening it was. There are some amazing facts about the Mall of America that I did not know. I mean, I knew it was big, but you got to check some of these things out here. 8 acres of skylights. That's a lot of skylights. 4.3 miles of storefronts. You could fit 7 Yankee stadiums. 7 Yankee stadiums inside the mall. You could fit 32 Boeing 747s. It took 65 semi-trucks just to transport the trees to the theme park. 65 semi-loads full of trees. That's amazing. 86 hours is the length of time it would take you to complete your visit to Mall of America if you were to spend just 10 minutes in each store. Holy Hannah. And the list just goes on. This is Mall of America facts if you want to look up. It's pretty crazy. 32,000 tons of trash recycled each year. There's 170,000 Legos have been lost in the Lego play area. 170,000 that are lost. It's just kind of fun to look at it. The biggest one here is $650 million to build, and it's been worth about $2 billion of economic activity annually for the Minnesota here. So it's a great asset that we have it here. All right, thanks for listening. Hope you learned some fun things about the mall. Have a great day.